Boom. Welcome back, everybody. It's
Welcome
episode
back.
20 of the Mastery Podcast. Adam Carroll, Nick Durr, Mr. Mind Over Money himself is here. And we just got back late last night from a really cool trip. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, we were in Sedona, Arizona, and it had some record-breaking temperatures and also just circumstances. It was snowing. There was snow on the Red Rocks, and I think there was 18 inches of snow, and locals were saying...
Hasn't happened in 32 plus
32
years.
plus years, yeah. It was really beautiful, though. I was pleasantly surprised by how nice it looked to have snow on. And it was cool because we also saw snow on top of cactuses or cacti.
Yes.
And I never thought that I would ever see those two things in
It's an interesting picture, isn't it, to have snow and cacti in the picture?
Yep.
One of the things that I found interesting about Sedona, I've been there 4 times. Every time I've been there, it's so hot that, and it's mostly June, July, August when I've gone, but you're outside in the mornings, you stay in all day, you go outside again at night. When the snow was falling, nobody was outside because Sedona basically shut down while we were there. And yet then 2 days later, it was 45 or 50 degrees out and everybody's out hiking all day long. So I would almost rather be there when the weather is a little bit cooler, when it's 40, 50, 60 degrees, as opposed to 95 or 100 when I was there before. Yeah. We were there for the Build a Bigger Life retreat, which is a retreat I hosted. There were 11 of us there, and we had entrepreneurs, we had some employees. The employees, one is a salesperson for a research firm, one of the others is a physician, and he works for a hospital system and a university system. So it was an amazing time to get everyone together, and I think there were a lot of takeaways, don't you?
Yeah, it was, first of all, it was awesome. And we're going to be hosting more in the future, and I'm excited for all of these people to really check it out. But we really discussed what it is to build a bigger life, and you shared the 9 tenets of what it is to really be an architect of your life. And so we covered everything from really what's important to you and your values. We covered really how to make money irrelevant. We talked about eliminating and simplifying your life and automating it. Yeah. And people walked away with massive breakthroughs.
Cool. Yeah. And if you're a listener to the show or watching us on YouTube, then you're probably a podcast consumer. There is a podcast called the Build a Bigger Life podcast that I've been doing for about 3 years now. And there's 100 plus episodes out there on iTunes and Stitcher and SoundCloud, so Spotify. So check that out as well if you were so inclined and want to know more. One of the tenets that we talked about was making money irrelevant. And I believe personally that all of us are trying to build a bigger life, that we're all in the pursuit of that. And the mastery of money is one step in it. And in fact, I call it making money irrelevant, where money is no longer a super deciding force in your life. And that's obviously something we talked about in depth. Yeah. What were some of your takeaways on that?
Well, there's what was really interesting is we talked about a particular financial concept and how we live today in a banker's model. And what we discussed was really shifting it and turning it upside down and really being able to use it in our favor. And I think the biggest takeaway for me was, as a financial coach, we had another financial coach in the room and also a financial advisor for 20 years. Me and the other 2 people had no idea that this was even possible for people to take advantage of. So the big takeaway for me was there's so much out there that is untapped. And it isn't unless we learn and become a student of it and understand how we can leverage it that we can actually use it to make a difference. Otherwise, we're kind of just operating with the lens that we already have.
Yeah. Which is basically prescribed for us in a sense. Yeah. I always joke about this, but if you leave your house, drive around for 20 or 30 minutes, count how many banks and credit unions you pass. How many individual buildings have been built to house other people's money so that the banks can make more money. And we all play into that. And so in future episodes, we'll talk about how to make money irrelevant, but also how to make your income hyper efficient. So if you're interested in that, leave a comment down below or reach out to us, questions@masteryofmoney.com. So when we talk about learning, the other thing that you and I have done, we've sort of engaged the college crowd over the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
Tell our listeners and viewers about that.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. Adam and I were speaking at an event called Delta Sigma Pi Lead event. Delta Sigma Pi is an international business fraternity, and quarterly they have events based on regions, and we happen to be in the western region in Irvine, California, where Disneyland is, and it was awesome. I would say 400 to 500 college students.
Yeah, easy 500. Yeah,
500. Yeah. And Adam and I, shared the room, and it was like the money room. Adam keynoted and was really able to share a lot about, habits to do to really practice and start to own mastery of as a college student. And then I shared a little bit about mindset and money and how you can really, pursue the life of your dreams when you have your money taken care of and handled.
Yeah.
There were a lot of questions that you received, right, that you were surprised by from these college students?
There were. A lot of them were interested in buying real estate, which I thought was kind of fascinating. They're in Southern California and Hawaii and various other places like that, where
cheap places.
Yeah, real expensive to buy houses. So I was giving them some strategies and structure around how much would you have to put down and getting tenants to help you pay for your mortgage and those kinds of things. And it's interesting that a lot of the students, they don't necessarily think about becoming a landlord. It probably scares them. But if someone is going to just get started right out of school and they want to buy real estate, that's one of the best ways to do it. So some really great conversations around that. And then I think there were a lot of questions that you answered or maybe even prompted more questions around the whole relationship to money.
Yeah.
And if money were a person, what would be your relationship?
Yep. Yeah.
Did you get any questions after that?
Yeah, well, they really liked that. They were like, I've never thought about that before. But I think the main questions was, really looking at how they could pursue the life that inspires them, while still, taking care of student loans and all of that. Everyone in Delta Sigma Pi is a business major, so finance, accounting, operation systems. And so, and I was there too. I changed my major 7 times in college and kind of had this view that I needed to be in a business professional field, and I didn't think that I could actually live my life the way I wanted to, travel to the places I wanted to travel, impact people the way that I wanted to. I thought it was very corporate. So they were definitely interested in how I was able to create that for myself. Yeah. So the question was, how do I pursue my dreams when I'm in a model that is very business oriented and it's kind of like A, B, C, and there's not much flexibility.
They're basically being trained to go get a job.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to present to a group that's really grown up in the gig economy.
Yeah.
And I get those questions a lot around how would I start a resale business, or there's a lot of people that are driving for Uber, or they've got side hustles already, which is really kind of cool to see. It's very promising.
Yeah. My parents wouldn't have let me do that.
They're like, no, Nikki, you're going to school for this particular thing, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome. Well, we are, obviously about 20 episodes deep in the Mastery Podcast. We've got scads more to share with you, dozens upon dozens of episodes yet to shoot, and lots of great content to share. So we like to do these check-ins to find out, how are you, the viewer and the listener, doing in your own pursuit of mastery? So what are you wanting to learn? What can we help share with you? What stories would you like to hear? Let us know by either making a comment or sending us an email. Again, the email address to send it to is questions@masteryofmoney.com. You can check out the site, masteryofmoney.com. You can also find us on YouTube, Mastery of Money, or on the podcast, which is called the Mastery Podcast.
Yep.
So very cool.
Yep.
So now we're down to goal setting time.
Yeah. It's the beginning of third quarter, right? And
end of first quarter.
End of first quarter, beginning of the third month of the first quarter.
There you
go. One shift that I have made as an entrepreneur now is thinking on a quarterly basis, because before it would kind of just be, what month am I in, or but really thinking about quarters has and it's perfect for this conversation around goals, because it's allowed me to chunk my goals that might be bigger, in a year, to 4 milestones when they're quarterly. So really, as you're listening, as you're watching, what we want to invite you to really look at is, what are the goals that you have created for yourself for the first quarter or by the end of this month? and really looking at where are you, where do you want to be or need to be, and what are the gaps, if any, and what actions do you need to take.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a process we go through, and I like to get together with my team every 60 days. So where Nick does a lot of quarterly goal setting, we do 60-day sprints. So whether you are someone who likes to set out for the future and hit that mark, or you're someone who likes to maybe go a little bit less far into the future and just have a 2-month runway that you're working on, if you goal set like I do, then the goals would be for the next 2 months. It would be the end of the first quarter and into the first month of the second quarter. I like the 60-day sprints because we stay really focused and intent on what is the very next thing that we're going to go do.
Yeah.
So I know it's good, everyone has their own method, but make sure you are setting your goals accordingly.
Yep. I'm excited to see them, hear them, and any way that Adam and I can support, that's what we're here for. That's why we do what we do.
We will see you on the next show. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things you need to do. See you soon.
See ya.